Welcome back to my YouTube channel LC Coins World, where today we take a deep and exciting journey into the long detailed professional history of the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a piece that is far more than just a small copper alloy disc. It is a reflection of American monetary evolution, national symbolism, minting technology, economic adaptation, and cultural identity. And by the end of this 2-hour video you will come to understand why the 1980 Lincoln cent is an important coin to study and collect, and why it remains a valuable educational tool for numismatists, history enthusiasts, and everyday collectors around the world. The story of the 1980 Lincoln cent begins long before 1980 itself, when in 1909 the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The coin was historic because it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. Prior to that, American coinage relied mostly on allegorical figures like Lady Liberty, but with Lincoln the country shifted toward honoring actual national heroes and setting the tone for the way future coinage would recognize American contributions and values. The obverse of the Lincoln cent in 1980 still proudly displayed the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln based on a design by sculptor Victor David Brenner, a design that had remained essentially unchanged since its debut in 1909, and the motto, "In God We Trust," appears along the upper rim. Liberty is placed to the left, and the date 1980 is clearly stamped on the lower right, along with the mint mark, if applicable, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, or no mint mark for Philadelphia coins. This continuity in design across decades gave the coin a unique sense of familiarity among generations of Americans. The reverse of the 1980 Lincoln cent featured the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears reverse. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was created by Frank Gasparo, and it aligned with the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design shift in 1959 created the unusual but powerful situation of having both Lincoln's bust and a representation of the Lincoln Memorial on the same coin, which in itself contains a small rendering of the seated Lincoln statue, making the Lincoln cent one of the few coins in the world to feature the same person twice on the same face of a single coin. The composition of the 1980 Lincoln cent was still 95% copper and 5% zinc, a metal mix that had been standard for most of the 20th century. This changed only in 1982, when the U.S. Mint transitioned to a predominantly zinc coin with copper plating in response to the rising cost of copper. This makes the 1980 cent part of the last group of fully copper-based coins, a feature that gives it added weight, durability, and collector interest, especially as later coins differ in tone, sound, and wear patterns due to the change in metallurgy. During 1980, the United States Mint was operating in multiple locations, with Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco all producing cents, but the San Francisco Mint was primarily focused on proof coinage, meaning the majority of regular circulation coins came from Philadelphia, and Denver mintage numbers were strong, with more than 7 billion coins struck across all facilities, meaning that the 1980 cent is not considered rare in circulated condition. But what makes it fascinating are the finer details, the die variations, the doubling errors, the planchet flaws, and the crispness of strike that can elevate a common cent into a collector's prize. In our exploration, we will discuss how minting technology evolved by 1980. The Mint was using high-speed coining presses, automated feed systems, and improved quality control protocols, but human error and mechanical wear could still lead to interesting variations, and these varieties are often the subject of serious numismatic study. For example, collectors may search for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, or other minting anomalies, which give otherwise common coins added value and character. Economic conditions in 1980 also play an important role in the context of this coin. The United States was facing high inflation, rising interest rates, and changing political landscapes as the country moved from the Carter administration into the Reagan era. The value of small denominations like the penny was being debated, and the costs associated with minting billions of cents annually were becoming a concern for Treasury officials. But the penny remained essential for pricing psychology, for vending machines, and for everyday transactions. And so the Lincoln cent continued to be produced in staggering numbers. The cent also had cultural meaning in the lives of many Americans. It was a coin associated with childhood memories, coin collecting hobbies, and the idiom, "A penny saved is a penny earned," which was often attributed to Benjamin Franklin. Though not accurately, this small coin found its way into charity jobs, parking meters, arcade games, and piggy banks, and served as a gateway for millions of young people to begin their journey into the world of numismatics. For coin collectors, the 1980 Lincoln cent represents a bridge between the old copper-rich coins and the coming changes of the 1980s and 1990s. It is part of the pre-zinc era and therefore offers a richer reddish tone and heavier feel than its later counterparts. It is still widely available in circulated condition, but high-grade and circulated examples, especially with red luster designated as MS65, red or higher by professional grading services, can command respectable premiums. In this video we will explore how coins like the 1980 cent are graded, the distinctions between red, brown, and brown toning, and how environmental factors like heat, moisture, and handling can affect a coin's preservation. We will look into the numismatic market for 1980 cents, including auction results, dealer insights, and demand among set builders who are putting together full-year collections or Lincoln cent albums. We will also trace how the Lincoln cent became a core element of American coinage culture, how it influenced coin designs around the world, and how it remains a benchmark for discussions on currency, utility, cost efficiency, and national iconography. We will interview collectors, we will look at real examples under magnification, we will compare mintage charts, and we will examine era coins, and even attempt to identify a few rare varieties that are known from the 1980 production year. So if you're ready to explore not just the coin itself, but also the systems, the history, the art, and the economics behind the 1980 Lincoln 1 cent coin, you're in the right place. Thank you for joining me once again on LC Coins World. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me on this numismatic adventure as we give this humble coin the spotlight it deserves and tell the story behind the copper that once jingled in the pockets of millions and still holds the power to educate and inspire collectors today. Thank you for joining me on another exciting journey into the heart of numismatic history, where we bring coins to life by uncovering the stories behind their minting, design, significance, and place in both national and global culture. Today, we will dive deep into the long and detailed professional history of the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent coin, a piece of American currency that holds far more meaning than its face value suggests, a coin that represents not only the legacy of a president but also the turbulent and transformative years of the United States as it marked its bicentennial. The 1976 Lincoln cent is a continuation of one of the most iconic and longest-running coin series in American history. The Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909, has carried with it the portrait of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, whose leadership during the Civil War and his vision for a unified nation made him one of the most revered figures in American history. And by the time 1976 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already become a cornerstone of American coinage, used daily by millions of Americans and collected by generations of numismatists from beginners to experts. Designed originally by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the 1976 Lincoln cent continues to feature the right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1976 to the right. Beneath the date, one may also find the mint mark indicating whether the coin was produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints, although in that year coins from the San Francisco mint were typically proof issues and not for general circulation, unlike other U.S. coins that were specially designed to commemorate the American bicentennial in 1976, such as the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. The Lincoln cent maintained its traditional design. This decision was likely due to the cent's role as a high-volume everyday coin and the logistical challenge of redesigning such a massively produced denomination. Still, the coin serves as a historical artifact of that pivotal year in American history, reflecting the country's enduring commitment to the values Lincoln stood for, even as it celebrated 200 years of independence. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, which had replaced the original Wheaties design in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the memorial was a fitting symbol for the cent, not only connecting it visually to a real landmark in Washington, D.C., but also literally placing Lincoln twice on the coin, since a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln statue can be seen between the columns of the memorial under magnification. In terms of composition, the 1976 Lincoln cent was struck in a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, and tin. This composition had been standard since 1962 and gave the coins their classic reddish tone and a heavier feel compared to. In terms of composition, the 1976 Lincoln cent was struck in a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This composition had been standard since 1962 and gave the coins their classic reddish tone and a heavier feel compared to the later copper-plated zinc cents that would begin production in 1982. This makes the 1976 cent a part of the last decade of traditional bronze coinage, which collectors often seek out for both aesthetic and historical reasons. The economic conditions surrounding the minting of the 1976 cent also play an important part in its history. The mid-1970s in America were marked by inflation, economic uncertainty, and a heightened awareness of the cost of minting coins. The penny remained in use for retail transactions, vending machines, and as a psychological pricing tool, yet debates were already beginning about whether the cost of production was justifiable. As the price of copper rose, the value of the metal content in each coin was getting close to, or even surpassing, the face value, creating concern at the U.S. Treasury. The United States Mint struck billions of 1976 Lincoln cents, with the Philadelphia and Denver mints responsible for the majority of general circulation coins, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins. For collectors, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins can be identified by the D beneath the date. In total, over 4.2 billion cents were produced that year, making the coin extremely common in circulated condition. Yet despite the high mintage, there are still interesting aspects for collectors, especially those focusing on die varieties, era coins, and high-grade examples. The world of era coins is particularly fascinating, with 1976 Lincoln cents as die cracks, die clashes, off-center strikes, and double dies can all be found with patience and careful searching. For example, some collectors seek out coins with misaligned dies that cause one side of the coin to appear off-center, or they hunt for subtle variations in the lettering or memorial design that indicate a double die error, and these types of varieties, while rare, add a new dimension to the collecting experience and elevate an otherwise common coin into a treasured find. Grading also plays a vital role in the value and collectability of a 1976 Lincoln cent. Most coins found in circulation will be worn and graded between VF and F on the numismatic grading scale, but coins that have been preserved in and circulated condition and exhibit full red luster can fetch higher prices, particularly when certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC on S65. Red or higher 1976 Lincoln cent is not only beautiful to behold, but also carries collector value due to its relative scarcity in top condition despite the overall high mintage. In addition to the basic and era coins, there are also proof examples from the San Francisco Mint. These coins were struck using specially prepared dies and polished plankets, resulting in a mirror-like surface and sharp details. They were sold in proof sets and are often collected as part of full-date runs of Lincoln cents. Their appeal lies in their craftsmanship and beauty, and for those building a complete year set of Lincoln cents from 1909 to the present, proof coins offer a unique and high-quality representation of each year. Beyond the technical details, the 1976 Lincoln cent has cultural significance as a tangible piece of a very important year in American history. The bicentennial year was a time of national reflection, celebration, and hope for the future, and while other denominations bore special commemorative designs, the Lincoln cent remains steadfast in its traditional form, perhaps as a symbol of the continuity and stability that Lincoln himself represents in the American conscience. This quiet constancy has made the coin a silent witness to the passage of time and a carrier of values that transcend its face value. In this 2-hour video we will explore all these aspects and more, diving into the minting process of 1976, examining actual specimens under magnification, comparing high and low grade examples, discussing collector strategies, analyzing historical auction data, and exploring the broader context of American coinage at the time. We will also take a look at Lincoln cent albums, the best storage practices, how to spot counterfeits, and how to grade your own coins using industry standards and tools available to collectors at every level. So if you are ready to learn everything there is to know about the 1976 Lincoln cent, from its artistic origins and production details to its place in the hearts of American collectors, welcome back to LC Coins World, where every coin has a story and the smallest denomination holds a treasure trove of history, knowledge, and inspiration. Subscribe, like, and get ready to dig deep into the coin that continues to shine through time, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent.